works for the camera.
What tradition?
It's all right. What's going on, good people? It's Rika Styles here today. I got a special guest on today. I have Kenneth here with me, and we're gonna get into some questions about some good topics. So I'll let Kenneth introduce himself, let him know where you're from, what you do, what you're about, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Well, my name is Kenneth, Kenneth Ross. I'm a bartender, serial entrepreneur, so a lot of different things, clothing line, entertainment, security, just a lot of stuff.
As we do.
Yeah. Otherwise than that, yeah, just a man that's searching the world looking for a beautiful queen.
There you go. That's what's up. So where do you want to start today? So I'll say this. So I asked Kenneth to come on the podcast yesterday because I'm like, I want more of a dialogue with the person, and then also have the feedback of my Facebook Live friends or whatever. Just trying out something new. So thought I'd come on today and just do a run test and see how it go. Get y'all feedback, and then we'll just go from there. So I asked Kenneth to come up with a question. And then we just gonna let it flow, let it be natural. So if y'all want to hop on and come on live, just send us a request. We'll answer any questions you have. We both are business entrepreneurs. We both have our own clothing line. So if you want to ask things in that aspect, feel free to hop on camera, ask your questions.
There you go.
All right.
So are you pulling out the question, or am I saying the question?
You want me to ask the question?
Well, so the question that I decided to ask was what qualifications should your partner have to make a everlasting relationship?
That's good.
So
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So,
you got to go to your subconscious mind.
Yeah, you got to think about
Is that what it's
That's
called, subconscious mind?
That's a strong
to answer that.
Yeah, strong deal.
I know. You want to answer that first?
No, I'm gonna go second.
You just gonna put me?
Yeah, I put the question out
You
there.
just gonna put me out there
I
like
put
that.
the question
It's
out
all
there. You
good.
gotta answer that.
So can I ask the question?
With a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'll give my description. So you said, what qualifications do we as a people, me as Rika, prefer to have in a person, knowing that qualification will give us a long-lasting relationship? Is that to sum it up?
That is.
Okay, so for me, since I am a woman of God, I believe that a good quality for my partner to have is he has to be a man of God. He has to believe in Jesus Christ, which I believe in, because that shows me that he can follow a leader, that he's submissive, and when he's a true man of God and he's after God's own heart, everything else is going to fall in line. God is going to teach him how to be a husband, how to be a partner, how to be a father. So that is one thing that for me personally will sustain a good relationship for me, because everything else is like you learn as you go. As you get to know that person, you both adjust to fit, together. But for me, I would say that.
Okay. Now I have to ask: is that a qualification, or is that how I said more?
A preference.
Yeah, preference of his spiritual belief. Because I mean, at the end of the day, he can still do all those things and actually still. Yeah. We ain't gonna say that, but still be, not a man of God.
That's true.
So
and
you
so
still have
I
those.
really wanted to start with my question of what qualifies as a quality.
Okay.
So we can start there. What qualifies as a quality?
So then I'll answer mine, and then I'll kind of.
See, this is where I wanted you to go first.
Hey, that's what I do. Hey, I threw the question out. I don't want to answer it right away.
It's all good.
But yeah, so my answer to that will be, the qualifications. I would think that is creates an everlasting relationship to me. And this is just off of just kind of seeing relationships and just seeing relationships that do work and things like that, or have been together for a long time. I believe trust. Well, I would say not even trust so, but trust is definitely going to be in there because it's going to blend with it. But the two things for me is communication and a how I say it, a unbiased judgment of your partner.
I like that. That's good.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I'm listening.
So communication and an unbiased judgment of your partner. Reason being, I say those two. For communication, for one, is because communication, if you guys can talk literally about any and everything, you are going to be forever, able to be, talk things out, whether good, whether bad. When you learn to have that unbiased opinion of your partner, you're going to actually be able to take in, what differences y'all have, and then you're actually going to be able to, how I say, you're able to actually help them work out, let's say they have a different sexual, something that they want to try, and you're not really down with that, but you're willing to listen to it, you're willing to, say, okay, you can actually, you might have an ultimatum for them to still be able to fulfill that, but still, because like I tell people, a lot of people ask that question: how could you love someone and mess with someone else?
That's good.
You know what I mean?
I gotta write that down.
Don't worry, I told you it's gonna get good.
I gotta write that down. We gotta come back to that. We just not gonna skid over that. I gotta come back to that.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
So how can you love somebody and mess with someone else? You know what I mean? With those type of situations, and that even boils down to, like I said, open marriages, open relationships, things like that. People don't understand how those situations work, but it's usually because they have open dialogue and they have, communication that's out of this world, because you have to have that to do something like that. So
that's a whole nother topic. My mind went. I was about to answer that question. I kind of want to get into that kind of though, but I'm just like, why be in a relationship if you want to just venture out? Like, why not just be
single and mingling?
Right. Like, I just don't get it. I mean, if somebody does that, please break it down on how that works for you if you are in a relationship, but y'all have an open relationship and y'all see other people. Like, what is it? Like, is it the feeling of I don't want to say insecurity, but
some absent.
Yeah, that is on the tip of my tongue. Codependent, like, do you feel like you can't get all what you can get from this person by being alone? So my mind goes all over the place with just that topic, and I definitely want to get into that on another. Yeah, we can definitely make that a topic.
There you go.
I actually was, and I sent you that yesterday. I was going to talk about poly. Like, what is poly? Or can you be down with it? I'm going to just tell you, absolutely not for me, because I'm selfish, okay? I'm not sharing nothing. Okay, I don't even like sharing my food, let alone my man, okay? Okay, so I heard you say communication and unbiased judgment. Can you break that down for me? Unbiased judgment.
So unbiased judgment, and that's kind of goes along the lines what I was saying is basically, having your partner be able to explain themselves unconditional, and then for you to accept them unconditionally as well too. Because I mean, if if my partner came to me and said, let me think.
Like, please don't. I heard it.
I got to think of a good scenario to kind of make it, PG, but at the same time, get the point across.
Yeah, I can kind of go over the qualities now and let you think if you want. So for me, submission is big.
Yeah.
Submission, you're supposed to submit to each other. Not one over the other, in my opinion. So definitely submission and communication is key as well, because if you are assuming that a person is thinking something, and I deal with this with my son all the time. oh, I thought you was going to do this, or I thought you was going to do that. And I noticed that's a pattern in boys, but also it goes to men as well. And I'm like, well, why would you think that? Because we didn't have that type of conversation. I didn't say that. Like, and I was trying to really break it down for him not to assume something. Oh, give you a scenario just to kind of back that story up. I used to clean Airbnbs a couple of years ago, and there was a McDonald's down the street. Now, mind you, before we get to the Airbnb, I already bought him some fast food. Look here, I'm not about to keep spending my money on fast food.
Yeah.
We got better things to do. And so when we got in the car, and he was like, why didn't you go right? I thought you was going to go right. I said, why would I go right? Oh, because McDonald's was there and I thought you was going to go. I don't know why you thought that, because we didn't have that kind of conversation. And so I'm really just trying to let him understand, I don't know your thoughts and you don't know my thoughts. So you need to communicate, whether it's in the form of a question, a statement, or something. So definitely communication is a huge part, but also learning how one another, communicate.
Exactly.
Because I talked about this a couple of episodes ago when I said a lot of folks from my generation, and maybe some before, but the 80s babies, we had this conversation too. We wasn't allowed to speak our opinion or voice our opinion or even say how we felt. You know, we was always told to be quiet, stay in a child's place, only talk when they're talking to. Yeah, so that really shut a lot of my folks down in a generation to not even express themselves, advocate for themselves, let alone be aware of what emotions you're feeling and putting words to those feelings of what's going on with you. So, and I recognized that when I first started talking to you, whatever, and I was like, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? And I started to practice putting words to it. Well, I'm irritated because this person cut me off, and they gave me the middle finger, and just even little stuff like that. I'm recognizing to put words with whatever emotions, because that helps me deal with it and get it out of my system versus harboring it, which causes sickness and stuff. So yeah, definitely communication and a submissive partner. I don't want no man thinking he's over me or it's equal. Like there's no
a relationship.
gender roles.
Yeah, a relationship should be equal, but there are certain things in the relationship that there need to be a leader. But
absolutely.
In overall, a relationship should be equal. And and a lot of guys kind of think, just for me to be a king, for me to be the man, I got to be, this type of way. It's not true. You know what I mean? Because now you find out all these guys that were, I'm Billy Bad Billy Bad and everything. He basically is now down low. You know what I mean? So you're finding out that these guys ain't really guys. They're really, perpetrating who they are and stuff like that. And a lot of times it's because those guys that are kind of, how I said, over aggressive to women, they can't handle when another alpha male comes in the room. You know what I mean? And they can't.
Or alpha female.
Yeah, alpha female. Yeah, they'll run for those. You got to check
your ego at the
door. They'll run for
those.
So, yeah.
Both sides. But yeah, I'm not following to, I see proof that you know how to lead, first of all. Because I may be better in finances than you are.
Yep.
You may be better at cleaning the house than I am. Like, it has to be mutual, equal, or whatever. And again, it's a conversation I be having with my son. I'll be like, son, all you gotta do is keep your room clean, take out the trash and clean the bathroom. I don't mind doing it. Did it for a long time. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tell you what I do around this house so you know. I sweep the stairs, I clean the bathroom, I clean the kitchen, I do the dishes, I do the laundry. I just start naming all these things. He was like, okay, I'm gonna go take out the trash. Thank you.
And that's a good way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't know unless, like you said, you gotta speak that because people can't read your mind.
Right.
And then at the same time, a person could be blind to the fact that you have all this on your plate versus, like I tell you, if there's a burden that I can take off your hands, let me do it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, those type of deals will help you out in the long run too, But it brings us together as well too.
Exactly.
So, it's a lot of little things that, you have to give and take, and a relationship is a give and take. You know, you learn some things. You do have to, how would I say, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Compromise. You have to compromise on, because some things you might not want to do, but your partner really loves this.
Right.
And, you know, you do it because your partner loves it and things like that.
Yep.
But, you know, those type of things is compromising, you know, in a compromising position.
Businessman. I'm gonna check these comments out real quick to see if anybody wanna come on live. I hope y'all are enjoying the conversation here. I did hit you up, Mayberry. I actually invited you yesterday to the podcast. I did not get a response. I would definitely bring you on camera if you want to. Okay, I hit add. Okay, it said it couldn't add. What's up, Andrea? I tried to add y'all, but it didn't let me add. Okay. What up, sissy? How's it going? I'll just talk to you. Okay. Y'all send y'all requests if y'all want to get on camera. You gotta take the call? Oh, okay. So there's a question that I had in regards to the unbiased justice. Goodness, I'm such a racial justice talker. I'm thinking unconscious bias conversation. How does one get there to not be judgmental with the unbiased? Like, how does one get there? What does that look like?
Well, I would say that definitely has to go with the work on yourself, because for you to become unbiased to someone, you have to be unbiased to yourself.
Right.
You know, that's the same thing as loving yourself. Same thing as, you know, healing yourself. You know, you have to do that work first before you can actually go to somebody and be like, you know, okay, I'm going to listen to you unconditionally without any bias to it. You know, just like a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist goes to school for the job to learn how to talk to people and learn how to be unbiased to their what's names and their beliefs, their options, and all those things. But yeah, so I think it's just, you know, work on yourself, you know, that you have to do to really be able to create that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That is good.
So what do you think?
I agree with you. It's all about society tell us, you know, to get the bag, to get the bag, to get the bag, to go after career. No, I think if we all spend as much energy getting a bag and putting that into ourselves, we will be such more evolved people. I'm learning as I do self-healing, been in therapy for 3 years now, and I can just see like a 360 in my perspective, like not even along with my healing and understanding and just being self-aware of myself, but I'm just like, man, I wish I would have learned this 10 years ago, you know? But again, our culture teaches us that something's wrong with therapy, you know? I'm like, absolutely not, because you're getting someone's perspective that's on the outside that can look in and say, you know, I see this pattern, you know, this is X, Y, and Z. So I want to encourage everyone
Let's
to go
be real
therapy.
about that. Our culture teaches us to be quiet about
Yeah, they
everything.
do. Sweep it under the rug.
You know, everything.
Everything.
Is be quiet. You know,
Everything. What's said in his house, it stays in his house. Yeah.
So you was raised kind of knowing everything is to be private and keep silent. Stuff like that, you know, if you was raised in the hood, you know, street code is to be quiet, don't say nothing, don't be snitching, you know, all that, all that same dumb stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like so I'm in the human service field, so I do a lot of social work, or I work with a lot of families, and the main factor in a lot of the people that I work with is sexual trauma. And so a lot of people have been molested, raped by family members. And of course, that has to be swept under the rug. The family doesn't want to talk about it. The family doesn't want to address it. And I'm like, well, that's unfair, because this person is suffering in silence and they don't even have the support of their family. Like, they can't talk to nobody, you know, within their family. And so, again, that comes from us being cultured as sweeping things under the rug, and why, you know, we have so much trauma. Why now we need to go to therapy? Because we held so much stuff in for so long, and it's rageful people. people that are easily tempered. I say it just comes from the core of who you were as a kid. I can't remember what psychologist book I said, but it's like when that incident took place, you're stuck in that age. So if you're molested at 8, you're always going to look at things from an 8-year-old's perspective. And I was like, dang, I didn't even realize that until I started going to therapy. Like, dang, okay, how I dealt with certain men, because I was molested and raped at a very young age by multiple family members on both sides of my family. The perspective of playing games with guys, you know, came about. Doing this to get that came about, you know, just being very malicious. And I didn't realize until I went to therapy how I was interacting with males and how my attitude towards was men was like, you ain't ish, basically. You know, you can't do better than what I'm doing myself. But because of therapy, I was able to unpack all of that and do healing, still doing healing from it, you know. It took years to get there. It's going to take years to unwind or whatever, but I really think people out here need to take time and just heal what their wounds, understand what their wounds, their traumas and triggers are before going into another relationship, because I think it's very selfish that you coming in with all this baggage that ain't nobody asked you for and work on it for yourself. So of course, every person will go into a relationship with some kind of baggage, but what you can do on your own, I really encourage people to do on their own. I think so. I feel like I did a whole 360.
Did a whole 360. But I will say, you know, counseling and therapy is something that a lot of people do need. A lot of people don't understand their sexual being, you know, the way that they, you know, treat women, men, you know, the way that they have sex, the way, you know, all those things, you know, do stem from your childhood a lot of times, because, you know, either you lost your virginity at an early age, or, you know, you were traumatized, or, you know, you've seen something. You know, all those things play a part into who you are actually today, what you do, and how you act. And that's it's little triggers. So, you know, people got to look at that and definitely try to seek that help. And, you know, hopefully, you know, you get the right person, because you can get the wrong as well, too.
Exactly. So. Are you aware of your traumas and triggers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How do you discuss your triggers with your spouse? Like, if I do something that just irks you, that take you back to Medea kitchen, and, you know,
well,
what the cast iron skillet, like, what? I mean, how do you get out of that to know, like, okay, this is now, that is then? Like, how do you communicate that with a person?
Well, to me, so I have, like I said, I've been working on myself for a long time.
Yeah.
And,
y'all hear that? A man that's been working on himself.
Yeah. You have to. You have to.
A black man at that.
You want to do better, you got to get better.
Yeah, that's true.
But I say, you know, the one thing for myself is I feel that, you know, you have to, how do I put it? This is, let me try
Take
to get it in the right aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, if you working on yourself and you go through, you know, these little triggers and traumas, for one, once you get to the point where you done worked on yourself, you will not let someone else get you to that point, because you know what's going to get you there. You know what I mean? Just like I always say, when people are arguing, it takes 2 people to make you mad. I mean, 2 people to get in an argument, but it only takes 1 person to make you mad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to let that person make you mad or get on your nerves or whatever, because you always got the choice to walk away.
Yeah, that's true.
And stuff like that. But instead, we'll sit there and we'll bicker back and forth.
Right. Don't do that.
You know, so yeah.
Because you bring yourself down too.
Yep.
There's a lot of times, I recognize in dating that there has been some triggers, like unintentionally. There's triggers that will come up, or the person will trigger something unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like if they're super loud, you know what I'm saying? If they're cussing all the time, and I'm just like, it's just a trigger. It just brings me back to my childhood when I would go over my mom's side of the family that was so loud and just cussing and yelling at each other. Like, they would go 0 to 10 in like 1 second, and then I saw that person do that, and I was like, yeah, I'm not. I have a choice. I am not dealing with that anymore. But I had to let them know, the way you talk and cuss and the elevation of your voice is a trigger for me. Oh, you just sensitive. You just sensitive. Nah, brother. Nah, brother, you hitting something. So yeah, that's what I mean as far as your trigger. Sometimes people will unintentionally trigger you. And how do you get out of those moments, or how do you address those moments?
I mean, I'm very vocal. I'm very vocal. So I would definitely tell a person if it's something I don't feel comfortable with, or if I don't like. For me, if it's something that triggers me, I'm definitely gonna let you know, or him know, or whoever. So yeah, for me, I don't know. It's like I said, it's kind of hard to trigger things because I'm always aware of my surroundings, and I don't put myself in places or with people that will, if it's basically I don't put myself around bad situations or people that can't benefit me mentally, or physically or financially. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like they say, your friends is who you are. What you put in your mind is who you are. Things like that. So you have to create those situations where you're not putting yourself in a bad situation. So but yeah, that's just how I try to keep focused.
I'm gonna check and see if anybody's trying to come on camera. You got your next question ready? Hey Wayne, how's it going?
Oh, do I ask another question?
What's up, Mix Nizzle? How's it going? If y'all want to come on the camera and answer any other questions that we talked about, feel free to send me a request and I'll add you onto the video, onto the live or whatnot.
So I would say, since we talked about triggers, then, what happens if somebody triggers you?
Yeah.
And you tell them, and then they don't care? Oh,
it's a wrap now.
Okay, so
it's a wrap because you're not showing any kind of consideration of what it's doing to me. Especially if they know the story behind that trauma and trigger, like I shared with them, and they don't show that, like, okay, you truly don't care for me. You don't need to be in my circle. So let me put you at arm's length or whatever. But if they don't know the story and I tell them or whatever, if I tell them there's a trigger and they like basically have no response, I'll let them know the story and I'll let them know where does that make my mind go when that trigger comes up. Because if you care for me or we're in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or long term, then I hope that you will build the capacity to be able to help me heal, and just comfort and shelter me through that. So those would be my 2 answers.
Gotcha. So I would say, remember, what I was just saying, you creating the space, your space. I would ask, how do you create the right environment
to do those things?
Yeah.
So
to keep yourself in a place of peace
with myself or with the person I'm dealing with. Both. Okay, so I talked about this probably 2 episodes ago as far as like people in relationships need to have check-ins. I think a lot of times we don't have enough check-ins in our relationships. We get too comfortable with each other, and we forget to check in. And that's why you see women, you leave your shoes on the ground for the last time, and she come in the house and she trip on them, she blows up because there's other stuff that was never dealt with or expressed on her end. Yeah. And so I think when people have weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins with each other, like even if they're going good, even if they're not going good, have those check-ins. Babe, you said something that really offended me. I know that wasn't your intentions, but oh, babe, I'm sorry. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So I think those moments when you have those check-ins, you can express why that person did something to trigger you, and then now you got an attitude and you ain't giving up none and you ain't cooking nothing, and because of this trigger, because sometimes we feel like it's done intentionally, and a lot of times it's not. And that's why I think it's very important for a person to work on themselves, heal, and also do self-love, because once you do all those things, you're easier and quicker to express, hey, you did something, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it had me feeling some kind of way. Can we talk about it? You know, and I think that will really avoid a lot of hard head-on collisions in relationships.
Okay.
So, what's your thought around that?
Well, I mean, I definitely, like, for me, I definitely understand that. Me personally, I create, like I said, how I kind of create my environment by making sure I don't, you know, go into those type of situations. Yeah. But at the same time, just kind of making sure that, you know, any situation I come in with a level head, you know, trying to make sure that, you know, whenever I'm listening to somebody, I take in the intake and the outtake. Yeah. You know, kind of, you think both ways. That's good. Because you never know what may happen, you know, off of a person, you know, giving their feedback of their experiences, because, you know, like you said, those experiences that they may tell you may trigger something that you like, oh yeah, I don't know if we blend
want to deal with that.
You know what I mean? So you gotta at least keep it open minded, because like I just told my boys, you know what I mean, it's something. Every person changes. Yes. You know what I mean?
You're supposed to change. So you're supposed to evolve.
You can't judge a person by their yesterday, because today is their future and tomorrow is the future as well. Exactly. So, you know, you got to make sure that, you know, you understand that when people change, when people change, you know what I mean, that you accept them as that changed person versus their previous, you know what I mean?
That's good that you said that. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I was just like, I'm really learning how to accept people for who they are, because I recognize we as a people like to put people in a cookie cutter box of what we want them to be. And I was like, that doesn't give the person to show up as their authentic self. You're not able to see what they can offer to the relationship, whether it's a friendship, long-term, business, whatever. And I had to apologize, because I'm like, I'm trying to put this person in this category, and they're supposed to be in a whole nother category, but because I was trying to have this, you know, I was missing out on my blessing. And so that was really like I knew it, but it was a really aha moment of, I'm not allowing them to be themselves, or I'm not accepting the things that I see and where they are in life. Yeah, they're trying, however, I was like, ooh, okay, humbling moment. Okay. So yeah, I apologized, and yeah, we move forward.
Okay, good deal. Well, I hope it wasn't the glitz and glamour she was chasing after.
Oh, absolutely not. Okay. I do that for myself. No. It was expectations.
Oh, okay.
And what else did we say? Expectations and standards.
Standards, yeah.
I realized that I'm really spoiled. I'm like, who spoiled me?
I mean, but you're only child?
Of course, I'm the only child.
Then you're spoiled. Then that's
people say that, but I'm like, no, I wasn't spoiled. My mama was mean. I feel like I couldn't get nothing I wanted.
You got everything from your mom or dad or whatever, but at the end of the day, you're the only child. Right. You ain't got to split it with a brother, with a cousin. You ain't got to get the hand-me-downs. You ain't got to take the clothes that your brother or your sister and stuff had to wear, and now you're wearing that 13 years later.
I don't think that made me spoiled. No.
Okay.
It could have. It could have. I mean, I had to wear some hand-me-down clothes. Mom used to go to Mary Jo's back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think anybody in the hood.
Ooh, or Sharon and Karen is what they called it back in the day. You know, you meet Mary Jo, she passed on her little dollars to you.
Man,
bless you, bless you.
That little rosary boy. I used to be the stuff. Get some cookies.
Coming out there cool with some hot water on. That's all right. They knew though. But yeah, I had to really ask myself, like, why do I have such high expectations? And I think it's because I know it's because I'm such a thoughtful and considerate person, especially to someone I'm very interested in. Okay. And I expect that back, but I have to understand everybody does not come with that consideration. And then I have to ask myself, where does that depth of thoughtfulness and consideration comes from, you know? So that's a question I'm still working on. And I think it might come from me being the only child, and I wanted I wanted a little bit more from my mom, you know, raised with a single mom. She had to work 2-3 jobs, you know, she's hustling, so she couldn't give me some of the things that I needed as a kid. She provided though. We had food, we had a place to stay, but like the emotional part, and some of the thoughtfulness, I think it stems from lacking that as a kid.
Okay.
But I've also had it in men before, of just being very thoughtful and very considerate, and so that really set the bar high, because before that, I wasn't getting none of that. So I'm like, I want to stick to this bar right here. So I think that's where that comes from. But I also know I'm a giver in a relationship, so I'm giving 110% of myself to show this person I love them and I care for them. I'm thinking about them. I recognize the things that you like, you know. So if I see something in the store, I'm gonna get it for you. Like, I'm that type of person.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, good deal. What's the next question you got?
I think that's it. We're gonna leave.
That's it?
We're gonna leave the people hanging. You know, we'll come back and probably I don't know if next week or 2 weeks from now. I'll check with Kenneth and check his schedule out. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Rika Styles, to like, subscribe. If you missed this live, I'm gonna leave it up on my Facebook, but it'll also be on my YouTube channel. Do you have a website for yourself?
Not right now.
No, right? Okay, so Kenneth, he's also a fashion designer. He's wearing his items as well. Very inspirational to me, you know, kind of giving me that push without pushing me or whatever.
No, I'm gonna push. No, I'm just
in good ways. But yeah, I'll be dropping the Rika Style signature line, t-shirt line this tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. You can go to my Shopify as well. Also follow me on Instagram, Rika_Styles. And we thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have a good day. And remember, be bold, be blessed, be beautiful. Most of all, be you. Good day, good people.
Nice.